This is FilmWise, Chuck. The Peanuts movie. Now, I want to put this out. I'm not a huge fan of the Peanuts cast. In a way I explain it, the reason why is because I haven't seen really the most famous or even the most non-famous specials. I haven't seen a lot of the movies, nor have I even seen certain, I think they're shorts or something. I don't know if they're like shorts of it, but I have seen one of them, Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown. I've seen that one, and I haven't. Another one I think I saw like when I was young was the Valentine one, and yeah, I haven't really much seen Charlie Brown in most of the specials. Though when I was around the time when I was just reading little bits of comic books in the newspaper that my grandmother passed for me, sometimes I've seen actual little comic strips from the Peanuts cast. They were these kinds of little shorts, like they lasted for four probably to three pictures long, but they were still the Peanuts, and it was great reading them. They got me a laugh sometimes. But now we get to the point of the film, the Peanuts movie. So the Peanuts movie, the story of the Peanuts films is, of course, just your regular simple the Peanuts gang trying to just deal with everyday life when suddenly there's this red hair girl which Charlie Brown falls in love with. Well, mostly it's just puppy love. But then, so Charlie Brown tries to make a good impression on her. Obviously, being Charlie Brown, it doesn't work out that well, and he does everything he can to try to get a good impression out of her and trying to be the best he can. Can he do it? Can he get a good impression out of her? Can he try to talk to her, at least, instead of being afraid all the time? Now, of course, my overall positive thoughts on this movie, I can say, is the animation. The animation style in this film is amazing. I mean, amazing. I really do like this kind of... It's also kind of strange in a way because it is CG, but it somehow has this 2D effect. It kind of has this two-dimensional kind of hand-drawn effect. I can't really explain it, but you have to see the movie for yourself. It feels like a 2D movie, but it's a CG film. I have noticed certain CG scenes, like when you see the houses, and sometimes when the characters are moving around, they do look three-dimensional, but most of the time, I kind of see it as a 2D animated film because I see certain spots in the movie where it feels 2D animated. When I look at this, it kind of reminds me when I play 2.5D video games. It kind of has that kind of sense and kind of look to it, though it stays to the traditional hand-drawn Peanuts kind of look. And yes, it does stay true to that. Another thing I like of this movie is the comedy. Now, the comedy in this film is, in a way, it does have the traditional comedy that the Peanuts gang have, kind of slow pace, kind of strange, and also awkward moments, though it has very fast-paced moments in the movie too. Some of the fast-paced jokes in the movie are very, very well done. I mean, and also the slapstick is very well executed. Maybe there were one or two scenes that I didn't like that much, though I found most of the movie very, very funny because I mean, I wasn't the only one who found it funny. When I went to the theater and a lot of people in the theater pretty much was laughing like crazy. A lot of good funny things were in this movie, and I was just so surprised that there was a lot of creativity and a lot of good characters in this film. They tried, and also they don't... one thing I also love about this film is that it stays in its own time period. The Peanuts usually take place in the 50s. I think there may have been ones where it takes place in further times, but this movie takes place in the 50s, and it stays there in the timeline, and I love it because there are no iPhones, no new HD TVs or any kind of tablets or anything. There's just There's literally nothing. These characters use just pencils. They use typewriters. You can see the newspaper because, you know, I don't really see a lot of people reading the newspaper nowadays. So yeah, there's a lot of newspaper, and yeah, it's really, really good. Like, I am very impressed that this movie keeps the tradition and what Peanuts are about, but also maybe adding some new kind of thing to it, though it doesn't modernize it that well. Though, except for one scene. There is a scene in the movie where they're in a kind of dance, and you kind of hear, I can't remember the song, but it's a very modern song from our time, and it does, you know, kind of take away that kind of timeless feel in the film, but it doesn't distract from the entire movie. And now, okay, now let me get to the negatives. The only negative I really found in this film is that when they're going back and forth between stories, I think this is a little bit of a spoiler here, but I don't think it's too much. But here's the thing: there's one story going on, and then there's another story. One story, of course, focuses on Charlie Brown trying to get the girl, and another story focuses on Snoopy and him trying to write something. He's trying to write his story, and if anyone's heard of the story of the Red Baron and Snoopy, then you obviously know what I'm talking about. But somehow, these stories, I feel, kind of don't mix, because when you're trying to keep, you know, a standard 3-act structure, you want to make sure there's well paced to it, and this movie did have well paced, though I found like when they're going back and forth between these two stories, it kind of felt a little distracting for me. I mean, not too much. I mean, they're kind of very similar goals, but I just didn't, like, you know, could match it well with what was going on in the film and what was going on in Snoopy's head. It's kind of, you know, very distracting in a way. One point, it's kind of like if one drama turned into a drama and then another part turns into an action. That would be an action drama. But imagine if one story was only drama and the other story was action. You would see this wonderful couple just trying to, like, make out with each other, or just, you know, just talk about their feelings, and then in the next scene his friends thinking about trying to meet Bruce Willis and, you know, go up a tower and Die Hard or something. It's a little hard to little grasp. I'm not saying that's a big distraction of the movie. Oh no, it's definitely not. The movie itself still keeps a very well pace, and it's very well animated, and the characters are pretty much the same as they were, and that's what I really love about the film. I have nothing much to say, but I can tell you, go watch this movie. It's worth your time, it's worth the money, and let me tell you, I give this movie an A. Alright, Black Belt Dragon signing out, and I'll see you on my next FilmWise. But before I go, I do not care. I am listening to this no matter if copyright tells me not to.